Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Thornmaraj Mungshi with yet another video on structuralism. In my last video lecture, I talked about how structuralism defines the concept of structure. In this video lecture, I'm going to talk about structural linguistics. Now, guys, there are many good books on literary theory available in the market. And they are good books indeed, written by many renowned authors. But if you read those books for understanding literary theory, in most cases, you will end up understanding nothing or having a very, meager, shallow idea of literary theory, which won't be of much help for you. But if you want to understand literary theory properly and clearly, let me assure you that you are at the right place, and by the end of this video, you will understand Saussure's concept of structural linguistics very, very clearly. Now guys, you all have heard the name of Ferdinand de Saussure. If you haven't, let me tell you that he was a Swiss linguist. That is to say, he was born in Switzerland in the year 1857 and lived till 1913, that is, the year in which Rabindranath Tagore received the Nobel Prize for Literature, even though Saussure's works were not translated into English and popularized until the late 1950s. Now, what new contribution did Saussure make to the field of linguistics? What new did Saussure say about language which made him so popular? To understand Saussure's theory, guys, we have to understand two things: the diachronic study of language and the synchronic study of language. Before we go into the synchronic study of language, which was the concept of which was given by Ferdinand de Saussure, let us look briefly at the diachronic study of language. Now, what is the diachronic study of language? The diachronic study of language occurs when a particular language is studied in terms of its history, that is, in terms of the changes in the histories of meanings of individual words. That is to say, how the meaning of a particular word changes over time. Let me give you an example. Take, for example, the word villain. We all know the present meaning of the word. It signifies a dishonest, evil person. But earlier, the case was quite different. Earlier, it signified a villa servant. But what happened that a negative sense came to be associated to it? The villa servants over time, where many of them were found dishonest. They stole things from the houses of their owners, with the result that, in course of time, it came to contract a negative implication, with the result that we have the present corrupt meaning of the word. This is called the degeneration of meaning. Another word is glamorous, which was earlier used to describe the witches, but which is now used to describe the beauty of a woman. Now, what was Saussure's contribution to the field of linguistics? Saussure proposed the synchronic study of language. That is to say, instead of studying language in terms of its history, Saussure said that we should view it as a structural system at a given point of time. As a structural system with relationships among the words. As we see, therefore, structural linguistics do not look for the causes or origins of a language. It looks for the rules, the structures that governs how it functions. Now, there are two important terms which uh, we need to understand for understanding Saussure's theory clearly: langue and parole. As I have already told you, a language consists of over millions of words. These words constitute the surface phenomenon. Now, following particular rules or combinations, these words can be put together to construct countless new utterances. But all these words, all these utterances can be reduced to relatively fewer structures that govern the composition of their utterances. Now, these structures help us to make sense of the language and communicate effectively. These structures help us to understand the entire language. This is called langue. Now, what is parole? Parole consists of the individual properties of a language that we make use of when we speak or write. For example, as I am giving this lecture, I am using many words from English. So these words, these utterances constitute parole. Now, let me give you an example. Take, for example, the sentence, I play cricket. Now, I play cricket. This sentence follows a particular structure. There is subject, verb, object structure. Now, that structure is the langue here, because it helps us to make sense of similar other utterances that have the same structure. And I play cricket or I play football. This sentence is the words here, I play cricket, these words here constitute what is called parole. Now, for the structural linguistics, the main object of study is langue and not parole. Parole is of importance so far as it reveals langue. So this much about Saussure's structural linguistics, and I'll be uploading more videos on structuralism. Till then, stay tuned to my channel. Tata.